obviously Coach Bowen has mentioned that you don't throw a Will Coleman or a Seth Giles out there for 60 or 70 snaps, but what does it mean just getting those two guys back?
Well, I think just, guys coming back from injury, just, I guess in general, it's always goes back to what the injury was, what the progression is. Every position is a little bit different. I think the closer you get to the line of scrimmage, I think sometimes a little more challenging to get back just because the strain and the amount of contact you have. So everyone's a little bit different. So if and when those guys are, healthy and ready to contribute, then we'll see them on the field. But it's just everyone's unique, and every position is unique, and then everyone's experience level. Some guys could probably play a game without a lot of practice. Some guys, to think they couldn't practice, go out in a game would be probably unrealistic.
How does it change your dynamics at corner with Sed when he comes back and Will and Viper when he comes back?
Well, I mean, just again, it depends on the health of them and how much they're available. Like I said, the injuries take a big factor on how much they're ready to play. So all those things will be determined, throughout the week of practice. It's still pretty early in the week, so all those things will be determined by Saturday. And
are they able to go in practice this week, do some stuff?
Coach Mullins handling all the who practices and who's hurt.
What has Sed's attitude been during this process? Because he's had a couple injuries in his past that have kept him out. What has been his kind of attitude this time around?
Off the field, Sed's been great. He's been the same guy in my mind. He's been attentive. He's been coming to meetings. He's been around and he's been engaged. So unfortunately, if you had a few injuries, you kind of know how to handle it, which is not great. But there is some value in knowing that when you're hurt, you're going to heal up, knowing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and keeping a optimistic, positive attitude while you're injured.
What have you seen from Auburn's offense when you look at them on film?
They do a lot of good stuff. I mean, I think right now they are the number one rushing offense in the conference. There's a lot of different formations. I mean, you guys have all watched a lot of different formations, a large amount of shifts and fly motions, and a lot of window dressings to the play. But I think most impressively, they do a good job of executing their plays. I think they do a good job of planning them up versus certain fronts. And I think the players do a nice job of executing and blocking the right guys and getting yards.
What kind of intensity have you seen from your team after the bye week coming back into practice?
They've been good. We practiced last Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday prior to the bye. And I thought the guys had a good attention to detail, and we really focused on some things that we needed to get better at. The last 2 days of work have been really good. I think you see, I guess for any other term, fresh legs. And I think part of that is not only the physical, physically feeling better, but emotionally feel a little bit better. You're a little more recharged. Going through the season week to week to week, sometimes it's not necessarily the physical toll, but just the amount of energy it takes to get ready to play, and then the emotional highs and lows from winning and losing ultimately kind of gets you tired. So it's good to be able to take a breath and get those guys back.
As much as you'll welcome getting Coleman back, how tough is it to take a guy like Calvin off the field who took his place and now has performed so well?
Yeah, I mean, we'll make all those decisions as we get later in the week. Guys that have been playing well and guys that have been productive. As we get, 5 through 12 of the regular season, we have to do a good job of knowing that there's guys that need to continue to develop. There's a lot of reps that will be coming up here in the next 8 games at 1 or 2 deep. We're all a play away from needing somebody to go in for us. So, to get anybody back that has the experience and has the ability to help us would be great.
With all the window dressing, how do you prepare for that with a young defense?
You try to do the best you can, controlling some of the calls and ultimately trying to control the eyes, maybe for the kids even. Sometimes certain calls that we make can help minimize some of the distractions. So, and then just do as good a job as we can in the film room of making kind of the multiples, kind of try to simplify it and give them the confidence in what they're seeing and have them believe what they're seeing.
What makes the window dressing effective?
It's hard not to stare at cars driving by you. You got cars driving by you in front of you, and you're looking through offensive linemen, and they put the ball out, and the quarterback spins around, and it goes back, first day of football, and on defense, most kids up to this level to get here, they've done one thing: is look at the guy with the ball and chase the guy with the ball.
In regard to that, what Mike's talking about, how valuable is it to have basically run like baseball defense, three seniors up the middle, and Nelson, Richie, and Kevon? The guys have seen this 3 years running.
Yeah, they've done a nice job, and I was talking to Richie today about the things that he remembers in these games, and some of the tips and some of the things that they had talked about prior to these games, and guys that have been in the conference, obviously, it's every time you play an opponent, you get more comfortable with it. So the guys that have played a lot, I think they're real comfortable with the plan. And I think, you see those guys talking to some of the younger players. Leo's never been on the field versus these guys. So, there's some things like that you want that leadership and that calm to really permeate to some of those guys that haven't had the experience yet.
Malzahn handed over the offensive play calling to the offensive coordinator Lashley last week. Did you see anything different in that game that maybe you didn't see in the first couple games with Malzahn calling the plays?
Not particularly. It's my understanding they've been together for a long, long time. So kind of sounds like he's being groomed under Coach Malzahn. So I'm sure there's some personality things, but I would imagine with the coach being in that room, there's still a very, very heavy influence on the style of play we're going to get.